Hey!
What does that say? What does that mug say, Percy?
It just says
Love,
love you more.
love.
Don't know
Love
why.
you more.
Just saw this pink
Aw.
mug. Yeah. Good
I can't
morning.
believe it. Good morning. Good morning. I can't believe it. How are you
Hello,
guys?
everyone.
I mean, obviously, we took a break after season 3 and now we are back. So, just a check around our lovely room all the time from 3 countries. So, Ange, how you been? What you been doing since we last saw each other on Dear Future Grandkids? For I think we took a break for about 4 weeks, I think.
Mhm.
Is it 4 weeks? Oh,
I think
I'm
so,
so
yeah.
happy to be back with you guys, and hello, viewers. What have I been doing? I don't want to say I've been busy and working because that's so lame. So I'm not.
But you've been busy
It's
and
winter.
working.
It's autumn.
Mhm.
It's truly gotten cold. I'm in a jumper. It's truly gotten cold in beautiful Hong Kong. It's beautiful. Weather's perfect. Everyone's out hiking. People have gone crazy because they feel like they've been cooped up and it's been hot in summer. So everyone's out hiking or hitting the beaches. Biking is a big thing now for everyone. Everyone buys those trendy foldable bikes and things like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Hong Kong's
Yeah.
looking really beautiful. We've had a lot of small things open up. A brand new museum has opened up that everyone's talking about. So yeah,
Nice.
it's really lovely.
So you can see from there that Ange has now just become the spokesperson for Tourism Hong Kong. She just
Yeah,
sold
there you
Hong
go.
Kong.
Yes. I want to go back to Hong Kong now.
Hey, we're looking for a sponsor. So hey, hi Tourism
Hey,
Hong Kong.
Tourism Hong Kong. Hello.
Yeah.
Your
Pers,
new
what about you?
ambassadors.
Besides, I'm getting really nice, colorful shirts. What have you been up to?
Yeah. Hey,
That's a great
I'm
shirt.
colorful now. Yeah, look at that. It's June's. It's not mine. Anyway, no, the Philippines is opening up.
Yeah.
Cinemas are back open for the first time since the
Wow.
pandemic started. And then children are allowed to go out. So my kids finally were able to go outside. They see
Nice.
people. There are human beings outside in the world.
Wow,
So yeah,
that
I
must
think
be so weird.
it is weird. It is kind of weird, but and kind of scary.
Mhm.
But it's been a long time. We just really want it to be. We're heading back. So we've got a
Yeah.
movie coming up this December. It was just announced yesterday. The movie that we did before the pandemic started is finally going to be in cinemas
Is
this
that Big
December.
Night?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
Big Night.
Big Night? Oh, I didn't know it never
Yeah,
played.
Nice.
Oh.
yeah, it's playing in December in the film festival here, and then Game Boys is opening in Japan in
Yes.
January,
Well
and
done.
we're
Amazing.
hoping. I'm hoping to go. I want to go. So yeah, so
So
I
Pers,
hope things hold
wow,
up.
congratulations! In 4 weeks, you've done so much, and can't wait to
I,
see the movie. And also, congratulations to Game Boys. And so, what have I been doing the past 4 weeks?
yeah,
Nothing exciting. Singapore is regressed for a bit in terms of restrictions, but now it's opened up a little bit more. Now you can dine in groups of 5, but only if you're from the same household. But more, I think, more sort of travel lanes have opened up to travel between countries, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. We see how it goes. But it's great to have you two back. But also, we'd like to say hello there and nice to be back for season 4. And we'd like to say a very warm welcome back to our regular viewers and listeners. And
Mhm.
also, a warm welcome if you are tuning in for the first time.
Mhm.
So, no one then?
Yeah. Anybody tuning in for the first time? One can only hope, Jen. One can only hope. We hold on to hope. Just in case you're new, welcome to a show we created. It's called Dear Future Grandkids. It's written somewhere there above Ange. This is a show where we ask an interesting guest the big question: what would you say to your future grandkids?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Ange in Hong Kong. That is Jen in Singapore. That is Percy in the Philippines. And we're coming to you live. Today we're going to have a bore. We hope you're going to get a kick out of the show. So let's get the bore rolling, which hopefully are clues about today's guest.
And he's been a professional footballer in Singapore for 12 years, and he has won 35 caps with the national team. Now, his major achievement was scoring in an international cup final in 1998 against Vietnam to give Singapore their first ever international title, and that goal was dubbed as the Blade of God. We'll tell you more about that. Upon his return, he pursued a career in sports marketing and started out a sports brand activation agency called Red Card Global with only his credit card. and he built it into a $10 million company when it was acquired back in 2016. Now, he currently spends his time mentoring sports entrepreneurs and has his own sports radio talk show in Singapore. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a good friend of mine, R Sasikumar.
Yay!
Hello.
Welcome to the
Sassy,
show,
good to
Sassy.
see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. Sounds like a really fun show to be on, and I'm really glad that you guys got me on. And thanks. Let's have a bit of fun.
Oh,
Yay.
that's so kind of you. So you've obviously never watched the show, then, if you think this is fun.
Yeah,
I watch bits and pieces.
expectation, reality. There you go. Reality.
We like to disappoint.
Yeah. Well, Sassy, the name of our show is Dear Future Grandkids, just in case you don't know what you got yourself into. It's called Dear Future Grandkids. Now, when you think of yourself as a grandfather, what do you imagine?
Well, first of all, funny that you mentioned grandfather because my body feels like I'm a grandfather now. I'm nowhere close to a grandfather. My body feels like I'm a grandfather already, so I'm almost halfway there. But when you say grandfather, a bit of fear, I would say, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't want to be old. We all want to be young forever. But at the same time, also gives me allows me to imagine the future. What it will look like with my two boys. I've got two boys now. They are 8 and 10, and
We did the imagining for you.
Yeah,
you gave me a shot
There
there.
you go.
yeah. So
That's you as a granddad.
As a granddad.
Wow.
Very dignified.
Very,
Oh.
yeah. Oh wow, looking good.
Oh, I'm loving the
Rocking the
beard.
beard.
Wow, guys, you're scaring me now. That's scary.
I wonder how your two boys are reacting now. It's like, oh.
yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, Dad, what happened to you?" Like, but coming back to the point where I think it's a circle of life, right? When you're young, you look at your parents or your grandparents, and then eventually you become a parent yourself, and then the next stage, I suppose, is becoming a grandparent. So in that sense, I would love to have a lot of grandchildren in my later years. That'd be really fun. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying the moment being a father. So that in itself, as a lot of you would know, it's a big job, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It is.
It certainly is.
Yep. Mine's always up to be
And-
given
and
out if everybody
Sassy,
wants them.
yeah. Jen's always trying to set kids. Always.
Just take them.
Yeah.
And his dog. And his wife.
And his dog. Yeah.
So Sassy, I know it's not always easy to transition from being a sports person to a sports entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, I'll be honest, and I've said this my part of the story few times in different shows and all together. I was an accidental footballer. What I mean by that is that when I was growing up, I had no talent, I had no skills. I was just the biggest kid in the block, right? So every time my teammates, even playing in my neighborhood, would just stick me in the goal because I was the tallest guy. So I had a lot of space I could block, right? So they said, okay, you stay in goal. But I think the development really happened when I was like 14, 15, 16. I started to take football a bit more seriously. I developed my skills. And in 3 years, I made the national team. So from the age of 17 to 19, I developed really quickly and I became a national team player just in 3 years. So, and then, the rest is history. I quit really early. At 29, I decided to call it a day because I went to Europe. I tried my luck in France and I came back. I really wanted to play in Europe. So I didn't make the grade. I came back. I was like, okay, maybe that's the end of the road. But I did really well the following 3 seasons, signed big contracts. But at the final year of my contract, I had a bit of a falling out with the club. Not my fault. But I decided that there was a cross point where I thought that, you know what, let's make a decision. Let's make a decision for the future. That's when I decided I will leave the game for good at 29. And at 29, you're actually at your peak when it comes to football. I decided to, and I was really fortunate because I had the opportunity to move to Australia to work. So I took off 2 weeks after my wedding. So I went on a honeymoon on my own to Australia, which is not a good thing. And started working in sports marketing there. And after a year and a half, I came back home because my wife didn't follow me on that trip. like I said, I went on a honeymoon myself, but it's only for that long you can actually be on a honeymoon on your own, right? So
So
I
you're still married, right? I'm joking.
I am.
Yeah, I know.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I still am married. So decided to come back and then do my own thing. And fast forward, I've been running my agency. We sold it in 2016, and I'm back here. But going back to the original point of the transition, it was really hard because football was all I knew, and like a lot of professional athletes, I did suffer a bit of depression, especially in the first 6 months where I couldn't be with my teammates. I couldn't be with my friends. Winning was everything I knew. The highs and lows of football, professional sports was missing. It was a big gap in my life. And back in those days, you don't talk about that such things, right? There's no such thing as mental health, right? Just got to be strong because you're a man, you're a footballer. Just be strong, right? So I'm glad that a lot of it has been addressed now in this era where footballers and especially professional athletes, when they're making a transition, it's really hard. I don't know how to explain it. But a lot of actually other footballers have reached out to me and asked me like, how did I deal with it? So in a small way, I try and share my own journey, and I think a lot of people are good for it. So I'm glad that a lot has been done for it. But to answer your question, it wasn't easy, and especially becoming an entrepreneur afterwards. Wow. Playing football was so much easier. Like building your business is like climbing Mount Everest. It's no joke.
Oh yeah, I hear you there. Now, before we move on, I just want to hear, because there are people who are going through what you described. Coming from either being a player and then stopping, especially during the pandemic, right? Because everybody had to stop, or being in a show that stopped, that ended, and you missed the highs and lows, as you said. So, what are your tips, I guess, on how to deal with that?
No, I don't think so. There's one strategy that fits everybody, right? Because we all are human beings. We are quite unique the way we think, our belief system and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, if we can dig deep and really ask why we do that, right? The reason why we play football or you become a film director is because you're in love with that subject. Whether you're a filmmaker, you're a sport, you're in love. So as long as possible, try and fall in love and stay in love with whatever you're doing, and then find the good things that actually happen. And sometimes, I think that there's always some sort of blessing in disguise. Even during pandemic, a lot of good things happen, right? And it's hard to actually say good things happening during pandemic because people died, right? So, but I like to always look at the glass half full rather than half empty. I think that's probably my go-to strategy. When things are going bad, just have a look around you and go like, you know what? I woke up, I'm alive, and the people that I care about most are alive. I still have a roof, I can eat, I have a job. So I think we all should be thankful for those things. I think these small things we really take for granted. And I think if we can go back and default to that and being grateful, I think helps and goes a long way.
Wow. 15 minutes in and you're already so inspiring, Sassy.
Thank you.
Well said, man. Well said.
Great advice. So we're going to get to know you a little bit better now, Sassy, with some quick fire questions. So here they come. What's your favorite cuisine?
My mom's cooking. I can't live without my mom. Yeah.
Good answer. What's your favorite city?
My favorite city has to be Madrid.
Nice.
Oh, I love Madrid.
Ooh, love
Percy
Madrid.
and I.
Yep.
It was quite cold, wasn't it, when we went to Madrid? Yeah, we did a set visit.
I think
Madrid,
it's a
and
toss-up
we had a
between
fantastic
Madrid. Yeah, it's a toss-up between Madrid and Rio de Janeiro because Rio de Janeiro is another beautiful city.
Right,
Oh,
two on my
wonderful, yeah.
bucket list. Haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
Oh, Rio is fantastic too. Yeah, I love that place. What's your favorite personal flaw, fault, or weakness?
Wow. Personal fault or weakness. I think especially when it comes to setting high standards, I kind of expect everybody to be on the same level as me. Not that I have really great standards, but I kind of ask a lot about myself, and I kind of expect everybody around me to be the same as well, which I think doesn't really work. So that's a flaw.
Yeah, I mean, many weaknesses also have associated strengths too, and many strengths have associated weaknesses. So I think that can work both ways depending on the situation, right? And very quickly, I'm going to ask Percy, what's your favorite personal flaw? Very quickly.
My favorite personal flaw. Oh shoot, I'm thinking because I have an answer, but I don't think I can say it.
Say it. I do.
Do not
Say it.
make me say it. Do not make me say it. What's my favorite personal flaw? I don't know how to swim, but I like being neck deep in the water. So is that a strange personal flaw?
Well, you know what I find funny about Percy is the fact that you pretend you know how to swim,
Yes,
don't you?
I'm really good at that.
It's so weird because Percy doesn't know how to swim, but he's really good at pretending to know how to swim.
I passed 2 years of swim class. I passed 2 years of swim class, not being able to float. I'm that
You
good.
guys.
I'm a good actor.
Jen, what's your favorite personal flaw?
I've got too many personal flaws, so it's only a 1 hour show, so it's not long enough.
What a cop out.
We can do it on top.
Too many. I have bad taste in women.
Oh, Sarah's gonna kill you.
Oh, okay. Somebody's coming in your room
You're
now.
in the doghouse, Jen.
She's not in now. That's why I'm so brave.
Yeah. How about you, Ange?
I
What's your
love the fact that so everyone goes on and on. Don't cook, never cook. I eat all 3 meals outside. All 3 meals are bought and eaten outside, and it's disgraceful. My diet's disgraceful. But I kind of like it when people go on and on about the fact I don't cook. I'm kind of secretly inside. I don't know why. There's no reason, but I'm sort of secretly proud about it, and it's just become my thing. And I love the fact, someone bought me for my birthday a rice cooker and a it's like a 1-pot boiling thing. I don't even know. I haven't even opened it. And I'm sort of
I think it's called a thermomix.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Who is this friend of yours? He or she definitely does not know you at all to get you that for your birthday.
Well, her point
Your
was she's
fridge
like, you
is
have to learn.
perpetually empty.
Yeah, but that was her point. Her point is you have to learn to cook. It's not so hard. I don't know why you make it a big deal. It'll be healthier, cheaper, better for you in every single way if you learn how to cook. I literally live above a Circle K, right? So if people ask me where's my fridge, I go, oh, it's downstairs. It's called Circle K. I literally,
That's our pantry.
and I use it as my fridge. I completely use 7-Eleven Circle K as my fridge, as my cupboard, because it's right downstairs. Hong Kong is so convenient. It's so weird. I've now wear it as this complete badge of secret pride.
Sassy, are you still okay with the company that you have on the show? I mean, these 3 losers that you have with you.
They say the birds of a feather flock together, right?
We kind of gravitated towards each other. So Ange will be happy with your mother's cooking too.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
She's a mean cook, I must say. She's really good.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Sassy, I've got some questions. The first of which is, in 3 words, how would you describe yourself?
Wow, it's really tough. I like to say that I'm loyal. I am friendly. I can say I'm loyal, I'm friendly, and I am passionate about everything that I do.
Oh, nice.
That's really nice. What was your first real job, Sassy?
That's a good one. I worked in McDonald's when I was 15 years old.
Oh.
First, I was clearing the rubbish, and then eventually I graduated to flipping burgers, and that was my first job. It was such a humbling experience. Like, clearing the rubbish. That's when I thought, you know what, I better go to school and stay in school, because this is not what I want to do all my life. Like my dad was right. Like he said, if you don't study, not that it's not an honorable job, but it's hard work, right? It's just hard work.
Yeah.
And I obviously didn't want to spend the rest of my life clearing McDonald's rubbish. So I think it was humbling, but it taught me a lot as well. And it was interesting. I thought that kind of shaped the way I thought about work and many other things. And I highly recommend. And if I can't wait for my boys I want to throw them into McDonald's and work as a waiter.
Yeah, agree with you. I'm going to do that with my oldest. When he's 16, he's just going to have a part-time job, just to learn. Understand that money is not easy to be made, and it's hard work.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the kind of people you meet, your supervisors, because working at McDonald's is in some ways is high pressure because it's fast food. It keeps turning around, right? So you got no time to stop and like, oh, I want to do this. Like the supervisor, my supervisor, I remember very clearly. I was pushing the rubbish, and I told her, I said, when am I gonna learn how to flip burgers? She said, don't push your luck.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember very clearly, and I went like, whoa, okay, this is the real world.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it does shape you because I also worked summer jobs when I was young. It does make a difference in the way you see jobs and how to deal with life, how to deal with the stuff that you don't want to do but has to be done. Right?
Yeah, I had some really interesting part-time jobs, I must say, during school holidays. I worked in McDonald's. I worked in a cargo complex where I was a forklift driver. I
Whoa.
learned how to drive the forklift. Yeah, it was great. Then I worked in a publishing house where that's where I think the love for reading came, where I was actually helping an editor find stories, and then later on they were selling those books, and I had to deliver them by foot, take bus and stuff like that. So I did a bunch of whole work, and then I worked in a hotel where I was a housekeeper. I was washing pots and pans in the kitchen. So that all sorts of work.
Wow.
Nice.
You've done a lot this lifetime.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
again, I mean, I come from a very humble background, so there's no way that I'm going to ask my dad, say, Dad, I want to buy a pair of shoes. He'll be like, yeah, right, go and get you yourself.
Okay, well, let's go to your passion. Who do you remember is your favorite childhood football player? Or when you were a child, who was your favorite football player?
I had several of them, but one that really stuck out was his name is Terry Papanathan. He was the Singapore captain. They call him Captain Marvel back then. And growing up, I played in the same position as him, and I used to go to the National Stadium, the old National Stadium here in Kallang, and going there with the boys from my neighborhood. And I remember so clearly that those days the MRT line wouldn't come all the way to Yishun where we live. So you got to take a bus, then you got to jump on the train, and then follow like hundreds of people in the train. And when you get off the train and you're walking with thousands of people into the stadium, and I'll turn around and I'll tell my team, my boys, my neighborhood boys, say, hey, one day I'm gonna play this stadium. And they used to joke all the time. They say, you can't even play for our team. You're talking about playing for the national team. So I said, hey, you know what? When the day happens, you guys are going to be buying tickets to watch me. And guess what? They actually bought tickets to come watch me.
Oh, brilliant.
You're a movie in the making. I can totally see your life story being turned into a movie.
No. So Terry Papanathan was my hero. I looked at him and I went like, one day I want to be like this guy. Like this guy was, my hero when it came to football. And you know what? Funny that even when I meet him now we meet each other. In Singapore, it's a small place, right? And even my kids, I get that fanboy moment. I can't believe this. Like I've met top world-class players in the line of the work I do, but when I meet Terry Papanathan, I'm like a fanboy. It's like it's so funny how the human brain works, isn't it?
Oh, you're like a little kid. You're an 11-year-old, or instantly transformed into 11-year-old again, and that's just great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, no, it's those things that keep you kind of grounded in the sense that those memories, right? It takes you back to where you actually started, right? Yeah. And that's beautiful.
So let's stick with that, with where it all started. Now, do you remember what was the first pair of football boots you ever bought? Because you said you came from humble background, so you probably used your part-time jobs in terms of your wages to buy your first ever football boots. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Jien, I tell you, this is an amazing story. I'm glad that you actually asked. So we started playing football. I have a brother who's 2 years older. He's not as tall as me. He's slightly shorter, but he has shoe size 2 sizes smaller than mine, right? Okay. And at that point in time, when we started playing football, my dad said, I can only buy you guys one pair of boots, but you got to share it, right? So he said, so he basically said, okay, because he's the eldest, I'm going to buy him the pair of shoes. So he actually bought 2 sizes smaller. And my brother happens to be left-footed, and I'm right-footed. So what he did was he wore the left pair of boots. I wore the right. I had to squeeze my shoes, my leg into 2 sizes smaller just to wear a pair of boots. Right. Oh, and if you look at my toes today, they're super ugly. That's because of
the cramp.
on one
Yeah,
foot.
I probably, my wife says this. She says you got the ugliest ever toes. But you know what? That was because you know, it reminds me of. I think in China they do that with young girls. I think they force them into small shoes,
Bind the
right?
feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bind their feet and all that. So it happened to me by chance. So that was I remember that pair of shoes was from China, and it was $10. Back then it was $10, and the brand called Torch, and guess what? It's called Torch, and it was a 4x2. And in football terms, you don't wear 4x2 on studs on hard ground in Singapore. It's for wet weather. But we had to do it. I had to wear that, and then I have to wear my school shoes on the other side, and I suppose that's how I started. That's my first pair of boots.
That's amazing story. And if
Incredible
anyone
story.
is listening or watching it now, and especially kids who are really privileged and can choose like the most expensive boots when you first started out, that's a story for them to remember. You played for the national team, and you started with one side of the boot, your foot, a pair of boots, not even a pair of boots yet. One side, 2 sizes too small, and look where you went. Well done. That is an inspirational story if there ever was one. Amazing, mate. Amazing. Now I'm going to keep going. And also to delve back into let's say your memory box. Now, where did you play your first professional football match? I know you were a professional footballer in Singapore. So which stadium do you remember was your first ever professional football match?
Well, that's so when we say professional, there's two parts to it, right? So when I was in the army, I was already a professional, as in I was training full time, but I wasn't paid, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, in '96, I became a pro. So if we go back and say my first ever professional match, I remember very clearly. Back in those days, the Singapore League was called the semi-professional league. It was called the Premier League, and I was playing for a team up north. 2 seasons, I never played one game for them, right? 2 seasons. So the coach said, okay. Towards the end of the season, he said, come on, you're going to get a run up. I'm a center back. And he just put me in the left back and said, last 10 minutes, just go up. I was just happy to be there. I didn't care if he put me in goal or put me up front. I didn't care. I just wanted to play, right? So I remember that was at the old Jalan Besar Stadium. Now it's a brand new spanking stadium, but it was old Jalan Besar Stadium. And that was my first ever game playing in a professional environment, and I played at left back. I couldn't use my left leg to kick, but yes, I was a left back.
Brilliant. So back in those days, if people are familiar with football stadiums in Singapore and Jalan Besar, so probably when you played, it was still grass, right? Before they turned it to AstroTurf now. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really going back.
It was still the wooden stand,
Wooden stands, sitting outside, nothing's covered, right? Final quick fire question for you. What's the one thing that really, really annoys you?
What annoys me is when somebody promises something and they don't live up to it. Like if they say they're gonna deliver something and they don't, and I think it's purely also because of my entrepreneur background, right? I've been in business for the last 20 years, right? So I've met a lot of people. I've hired and worked with a lot of people, and I think what annoys me is that because when you depend on someone, you kind of have lost control, right? You put it in their hands, and that's what I hate. I hate not being in control, and especially when they let you down. That's like, that annoys me really, really badly.
Yeah, personal accountability, right? Just taking responsibility for what you said you'd do, right? It sounds so simple, but hard to do, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, good. I'm glad we've got so many stories already out of your quick fire questions and everything. Amazing football boots story. I'm going to recite that to anyone who asks me for a pair of shoes ever. I think that's fantastic.
You know what? Just if I can just add on that, because my boys play football, right? So and they're like, Daddy, I want a pair of boots. Like every time they want a pair of boots, I really make them wait. Like there's a lot of kids that they get boots every 3 months. My boys, I literally let them wait for 6 months to a year before they buy a pair of boots. And I keep telling them my story. It's like, if anything comes too easy for you, you will never appreciate it.
And now their toes are like this. Okay, Daddy. Okay, Daddy.
That dies with me. Not for them. The mom will not have it.
They've grown, but the feet's not the same size for 2 years.
No, that's good. I mean, make them wait, right? You get more excited. My dad told me that always save up for your first car, because I'm never going to help any of my children get their first car, because you will never forget the first time you put a deposit down on that first car, and you're driving it around. It will feel like a Rolls Royce to you, even though it was a Ford Fiesta, but it will feel like a Rolls Royce because it's your own money. And he always said, I'll never help you with that. None of his kids. Yeah, he goes, you're going to have to earn it yourself, penny by penny.
Yeah,
I agree with you. So Sassy, you have a very professional home set up, a little fancy microphone I see, and everything is in place and ready for action. But we think you're probably hiding something. So we're looking for your corner of shame, maybe a forbidden hidden drawer, some old socks lying under your bed. I wonder if we could have a little snoop around and show us something you'd never normally show guests to your house.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you guys my corner of shame, but I think I need to log on somewhere, right, Jen?
Yeah, switch to your phone.
Just your phone.
Christian will sort you out.
Yeah, and just click on that link again, and then
he'll
sort you out. Yeah.
Okay, so
then,
I'm gonna
then your mobile on your mobile phone, and then you can have us a snoop around, and Christian, our producer, will sort it out. So everyone's watching or listening now. This is technology in action live.
Can you guys see me now?
Yeah, let's see what Christian will handle that.
Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry.
You got to enter studio.
Well, Sassy is logging in. I just want to give a shout out to some people who are watching right now. Kawaii Donna, Samson. Hey.
Kawaii, welcome back.
Yeah. Maritosh, Shanghai. Marie Vic Lara. Hello.
Hi.
Liz De La Cruz. Angeli Salvador. Hi, everyone. And Roger Aquino. Hello.
And a birthday shout out for one of our regular viewers, Joka Evans. I know it's your birthday today, so happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
I think Christian's kill the main mic, Christian, and then keep Sassy's phone mic. Yeah, let's do that. Sassy will keep your phone mic on. We keep your phone mic on, but kill the other one the other way.
Okay, all right, Sassy.
Christian will sort you out.
All right,
go.
Okay.
Oh, there's a speaker. There you go.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
perfect.
Okay.
Right.
So should I go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So
let's do the tour.
Let me take you guys on a bit of a walk around my house.
Nice.
And show you exactly where. So
I love this part.
Me too. I love nosing around so much.
Mate, you are so neat, dude.
That is organized.
So the reason why I'm showing you guys this is because I've got more clothes than my wife actually. she's got this little wardrobe here. This is all mine. Like, have a look. Like, this is all mine. And actually, I've got another room. This is my kids' room, right? Okay. And I've got another whole bunch of clothes over here. So
those are yours.
Yours?
All mine.
But Sassy, just looking at your shelves, they all look like blue polo shirts.
Hey, that's yeah.
You collect them all.
Blue. That's my color.
I'm sorry, Ange, you can never have enough blue.
I know, Jen. You go to Jen's wardrobe. It's true. You go to Jen's wardrobe, and it's all blue shirts. The trousers are all the same, and it's all Adidas white trainers in Jen's wardrobe. It's exactly, and I'm like, do you need another blue shirt, Jen?
And the answer is always yes.
Yeah, I relate to that.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's my corner of shame.
Love it.
Thanks, Sassy.
Why do you have so many clothes, Sassy? Yeah. Why do you have all those clothes? Like, even your son's bedroom, you have clothes.
So, yeah, I'm vain. I love clothes. I keep buying clothes. Though I must say, the last 2 years I've not bought anything. But actually, I'm lying. I was in Spain and I bought a lot as well. So, no, I just enjoying. I really enjoy buying clothes. I haven't even shown you my shoes. got a huge selection. Of
Yeah,
shoes.
actually, I'm curious about your shoes because that's where the story began.
Exactly.
enough.
We would have
You know what?
expected more shoes than clothes.
Yeah, no. And you know what? My wife does her best to throw away my things. So when I'm pretty sure she threw away a lot of my clothes, but I just don't find them, right? So I don't know. So I got to see that. Pretty sure she threw away quite a lot.
You have so many you don't even know what's missing.
You don't
No-
even
no,
notice
no
what's
inventory.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks for showing us that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sassy. Now you've done a lot of travels. You've had a very colorful work life. You have two items that you can show us that have a story to tell.
Yeah. This one, okay. I'm gonna show you my softer side. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
cuteness.
oh,
Okay,
What
so
is
this
that?
was I was in Kuwait with the Singapore national team in 1997. We were playing in a World Cup Asian qualifiers or something. And then at that time I was dating my wife. Then I saw this at the airport and I bought this for her.
She's
And
kept it all.
she's
from
kept
then
it.
to now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
That is lovely.
So
That is
That's a
sweet.
really cute teddy bear. It's a I love Kuwait teddy bear, right? It's so
exactly.
cute.
Yeah.
So
She's
that's
a keeper,
that's
Sass. She's a keeper.
I know she's a keeper, but she actually brought it up for me when I was saying I need to show them something, and she got like, I have this.
Oh,
How about this one?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's from my travel, right? So the next one you guys want to see is from my work, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my life is basically summarized. When I talk about my life, my entire life summarized by one event that happened. So at the start, I think Jen said that I scored that very important goal for Singapore. That kind of got a lot of things going in my life professionally as well. So I wanted to show you guys the medal that I won.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right. So that's the Tiger Cup medal that I won back in 1999. That's the goal that I scored. I keep this. This is dear, and actually, I have my whole trophy cabinet. If you guys can see, I got a whole
Yeah.
bunch
Yeah,
of stuff
wow.
Yeah,
there.
we see it. We see it.
But this one is special because I think it kind of summarizes my entire life. Right? Again, like I said, there's always a point in life where it turns for the good or the bad, right? And then you go back and you kind of say, okay, this is the moment that I became who I am today. So I think this one, always looking at this, that goal, that moment, that night has completely changed the trajectory of my life. I think for the better, and I'm so grateful. So this is one of the things that I treasure more than anything.
Now
in my life.
it's called the moment is called the Blade of God, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Tell
the
us-
goal.
Tell us
Tell us
how
about
did
that.
that come
I'm
about the
curious.
name? Yeah, talk us through.
Yeah.
I know this. I've seen this, but yeah, Sassy, go.
Yeah, Jen knows this. Yeah, heard this 100 times. So this was a game we were taking on the home team Vietnam in Hanoi, and the stadium was full to the brink. It was 25,000 people inside, 50,000 outside, 70 over a million watching, and because that was the golden generation for Vietnam, they were so sure that they were going to win it. They were having parties all set up, and then it was a corner. And then it got cleared, and one of my teammates crossed the ball back. And I'm a defender, but I've not run back to defend. I just stayed up. I said, I'm going to score a goal, right? So as the ball is lofted into the box, I'm jumping with the goalkeeper. Prior to this, maybe about 20 minutes earlier, I clashed with the goalkeeper. So I really bumped into him, and then he took a tumble, and he needed some medical help. So this time when the ball came in, so he was in his mind saying that, oh, this guy is going to come and clatter me again, right? So instead of looking at the ball, he looked at me. Well, yeah. So he took the eye off the ball, but I was looking at him, going like, he's gonna take my head off now, right? He's coming for me. So instead of hitting the ball, I turned my back just to protect myself. And I still had a pretty face back then, so I needed to protect my face. So what happened was he missed punching the ball, and the ball hit me on my shoulder and went into goal. So it hit me on my shoulder and went into goal. And then the media picked it up, because Maradona scored with the hand of God, right?
God,
At the World Cup, and they said, "Oh, this is the blade of God."
Oh,
And
man.
like a good marketing man, I picked it up and made it my own. Actually, I got the domain. I registered the domain.
Oh, you did?
Wow.
Yeah. But everyone in Singapore talks about it. Everyone who knows football in Singapore and any generation actually knows about it.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
famous goal, and Sassy's famous for that. The blade of
That's
God.
amazing.
yeah.
Singapore's
Exactly.
first international trophy. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it was amazing experience. I think when we came back, and then, the whole situation around it was beautiful. I, like all good young boys, you get carried away by the fame and and all of that comes along with it. But it was a great ride. I think not just for myself, but for the entire country at the time, because we so starved for success then, and we got it.
Yeah.
Man.
Good times, Sassy.
Amazing.
Good times. I mean, obviously, we know that you've got skills on the pitch, even though it did hit your shoulder, but that's fine. but of
goal's
course,
a
this is
goal.
a goal is
Yeah.
a goal. But we know
Hey,
this is
go,
Dear
go.
Future Grandkids, and what we want to know about all our guests is if they have a pointless skill. So, do you have one?
I have a pointless skill because you guys, since we've been talking about this, I'm not thinking, what do I really have that which is pointless? I'm gonna show you.
Oh,
got
we
it.
love that. Okay, right. We have to
You know what
describe
this-
this then. That's a yo-yo.
Oh,
Yo-yo.
yo-yo.
Okay.
Oh, you
I
can
can play the
yo-yo.
You actually know how to play with a yo-yo. So
Yes.
what Sassy is doing now is just playing with a yo-yo.
The
That's
yo-yo.
exactly what he's doing, and that's his pointless skill. Because I don't think now kids this generation will even know what a yo-yo is or actually what to do with it.
You know what, Jen? You are absolutely spot on. So my son went to school and they gave him a yo-yo. He came back home. He didn't know how to play the yo-yo. I used to be so good at yo-yo. I used to do all these tricks when I was much
Oh,
younger.
you do the tricks.
Oh, you could do
Everything.
the
The
cradle.
walk the
and
dog.
walk
and
the
everything.
Walk the
dog.
dog.
Walk the dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then when they came back home with it, I'm like, no, this is not how you play a yo-yo. This is not a yo-yo. So the next day, my wife and I had to go to Toys R Us and we bought 2 yo-yos. Right? And so I came back home and taught my boys how to play yo-yo. And they were struggling. And Jen's right here. The newer generation, they don't know what's a yo-yo. They don't know how to play a yo-yo. And it's also motor skills, right? Because the way you bring it. So there you go. I've got a pointless skill.
That's actually a kind of cool skill, actually.
That's a cool
but,
skill.
but we'll let you have it. We'll let you have it.
Yeah,
We'll let
okay.
you have it. We've got that one. Let's stay on the topic of your boys. Let's switch to family mode now. What have you learned from your 2 boys? You'd say.
I mean, kids teach you so many things, right? The fact that when as a kid you don't really get angry, you forget fairly quickly, and you're so innocent with the way that the things you do and stuff like that. So with these 2 guys, right, they're a handful, and every day we have so much fun talking about football. We do so much things, but one thing I've learned from them is that don't take things too seriously, like kids, right? I mean, at some point in our life, we all start to get serious. I don't know for what, but when they're kids, they just don't have that kind of stuff. That when you have a go at them, you scold them, like 30 seconds later, they forgot about it. Like they still love you like 30 seconds ago, right? And but unfortunately, us as adults, we kind of keep that, let it fester, and then we get all sorts of emotions. So I think every time I deal with my boys and I look at them and go like, I want to be innocent like them. That just forget it. That's okay. The moment has passed, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
so nice.
true.
So nice to hold on to that feeling. And then Sassy, sticking with family as well, you did mention to us before that you come from humble backgrounds. Were your parents supportive of your choice of becoming a professional footballer? Or were they worried that, your career could be short? Will you be paid well enough? Were they supportive?
I'll be honest. I think back then, both my parents were working. I mean, they obviously wanted to provide the best for the family. So much so that we didn't really have that kind of conversations like we have with our kids today, right? We all were left to our own devices to do whatever we need to do. And a couple of weeks ago, I had this conversation with my son. When I was in kindergarten, I think you're talking about being in kindergarten, 4, 5 years old, something like that?
5, 6.
5 years old. I used to walk to kindergarten by my own. It was a bit of a distance for a young kid to walk. And I was telling my son, right? I mean, we drive you everywhere. Like I was walking to school when I was in kindergarten, right? So the point I'm trying to make is that parents those days didn't really have time to kind of shape this. But my dad was always in my ears saying that, hey, while it's great to be a footballer, but you really need to make sure that you have some sort of education behind you. And he was the one that really, really pushed me. And even when I started playing, I stayed in school. I eventually did my master's. I did my master's in sports management. So I would say that he's the one that always like, yeah, someday this is going to end. And funny, my mom, even when I was a professional footballer playing for the national team, she would some days in the morning wake up and say, aren't you going to get a job? Like, Mom, this is my job. They go like, no, it's a job, like a proper job. I mean, so in their mind, a job is where you go to work from 9 to 5 in an office or somewhere. But she didn't realize that actually playing professional football was my job. That's
Yeah.
cute.
Lovely.
Hey, Sassy, well, we kind of know that it's a blade of God moment that changed your destiny, your direction. That was as you said, a career-defining, a life-defining moment. But was there any other point in your life where you'd say that there was this one moment that changed your destiny, your direction?
I think so. I think there were several of those things that happened for me. Especially, I think when I decided to quit football. I think I was forced out of the game in many ways because my contract got cancelled. I got disillusioned. I probably could have stayed on to play, football and maybe play till 35 or something like that, and earning peanuts, right? But I realized that there's a future after sport, and fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of footballers in my situation, they tend to hang on to football and not really think about their second career. But I was lucky in the sense that I swallowed the bitter pill of saying that's the end of the road for me being a professional footballer, and pivoted into looking at my second career. So I think that was also a very defining moment. And I go back to the guy who actually sacked me and canceled my contract. And I saw, like, every time I see him, I said, thank you for what you've done. And he goes like, no, that's not what I meant. I said, no, you don't understand. I thank you for doing it, because otherwise I won't be here today. So yeah, quitting football at 29, deciding to take a different direction in my life, I think was one of the best decisions I ever made, and that was telling. And I think it's proven to be the right decision.
Must say it's amazing that you were able to, not, I won't even just say bounce back, but you were able to explore new horizons. Right, as you said, from where you were at the top of your game, and then you
Yeah.
just decided to head in a different direction. That's great. Um, if someone wanted to be a professional footballer, or a sports athlete, like you became, what would be the most important thing they should know when they're starting out?
So I'll take the example of my own boys, right? Both are playing elite level football. They want to be footballers. I think first of all, you got to fall in love with the game first, right? You got to love what you do. It cannot be a case where, oh, I do this because I kind of like it. Like is not enough. You got to be obsessed. You got to really fall in love. You got to be obsessed, and every moment that you wake up, you're thinking about it. That is why people become really good at the things they do, because every moment of their waking hour, they're thinking about how to be better, or how to do it good, right? How to do it, So I think that's a starting point. There are a lot of footballers today, I think, especially the younger generation, they like the idea of being a footballer, but they're not ready to put in the time, the effort, the sacrifice, or being obsessed. They like the idea of the limelight, the Instagram followers, and all of that stuff, right? The nice boots and shoes and playing in front of the crowd. But are you really obsessed about the game? Are you during your free time? Are you training extra? Are you studying the game and stuff like that? So that's one of the things that I keep telling my boys. And I say, if you don't fall in love with the game, nothing's going to happen. Like me, I fell in love with the game. Like, I was truly in love with football until today. I watch all sorts of football. I read every football magazine, every football website. I know almost every player on earth. So because I'm obsessed, I love the game. I think that's a good starting point, I think. And not just for football or for sport, for anything you do.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, and I actually, you said that at the start of the show about that's being, I guess, from my point of view, like my north. I always say it's my north star, right? You're always guided. Whatever happens, you're always guided by something, and you captured it well. If you're in love with what you do, then even if things go bad, you still can focus on that, right?
Percy, because I think when I look at my own journey, right? Even after I finished playing, I managed to stay in sports and do. I mean, my work has taken me around the world, and a lot of people reach out to me and say, "Wow, like you're so lucky for what you do." I say I'm blessed because I love what I do. Like I won't think of doing anything else on earth. Like that's because I love it. Imagine I have to drag myself to be a banker or I don't know, a IT guy. Like I will kill myself. Like that's not.
That's not who you are.
Yeah, that's not what I am. That's not like you said. It's not my North Star. There's nothing to do with me. It doesn't define me.
Yeah, but it's not easy. It's not a direct, line for everyone. When I was young, I really liked watching TV, but liking watching TV wasn't ever considered a job. You can't type that in or talk to your career advisor and say, hey, I like watching TV. But now, of course, I'm in media. I'm in broadcast and in media. It makes all the sense in the world now. But at the time, there was no connection to it. So I think sometimes I completely agree with you. Find something you love, you're almost obsessed about, because it's the only way you really dive in and get better at it and do your 10,000 hours. But I think I would encourage the viewers and anyone struggling with that to think about that in one level deeper, because it's not always obvious. So one thing I love doing, which I've realized, and now I'm getting paid to do it, is I really love learning stuff and then sharing it with people. So I'll just randomly Google something, I'll learn it, and then I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, I just learned how to do this and this and this. No career advisor would ever tell me that there was a full-time job in this. But I just found myself, it's taking me years, and it's nothing I did by design. But I found myself, now I do workshops. People pay me to literally share what I've Googled, right? And I just it's not my full-time job. And, will I ever be able to earn a full-time income from it? Maybe not, maybe, who knows? But now that I put the dots together, I'm like, yeah, of course, I absolutely love sharing random stuff I've learned. I just love it. And it makes me high. I'm on cloud 9. Once I've taught something, it could be the most smallest random shortcut on an iPhone, right? But I'm high for hours after I see someone do it. And so thinking about what you love, thinking about how that can translate into an actual paid gig, it's something that takes a bit of work and sometimes takes some lateral thinking, but I completely agree with you. It's great advice.
Yeah. I think, I mentor quite a lot of sports entrepreneurs, especially sports coaches in the US and Canada. And one of the things I always tell them that we live in the greatest era. The internet era is the greatest era. If you're good at something, you can scale it large because people can find you. If you look at all the largest content, the content that goes viral, it's what Ange just said, teaching people what to do. These are the content that actually goes viral because the more you teach, people want to share that, right?
Yeah. Well, Sassy, this is a point in the show where we ask you to take your phone and leave a meaningful voice message to somebody who's important in your life.
Wow.
And you don't have to tell us who. We just like to eavesdrop. As you noticed, we're very nosy. We like looking at people's houses. Now we like eavesdropping on people's voice messages. That's what we love to do.
Set up the show. That's why the show exists.
That's why we manifested the show. It's because of our love for being nosy.
It should be called the No Shame Show.
Yes.
Yeah. So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to take my phone.
Get your phone and pick somebody in your contact list and leave a voice message to him or her.
Yeah, so like a WhatsApp thingy.
And you tell them what?
Anything that you want to say.
Okay. So it could be present, future, whatever.
Yeah.
Your ATM pin number, your password.
Or whatever.
Whatever you want to reveal.
Okay.
Whatever you want to reveal. That could be
Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, darling, the show is about to end. Is lunch ready?
And the winner of the best voice message ever in 4 seasons of Dear Future Grandkids is Sassy.
Straight to the point. But I must also say he's very brave.
He's very brave.
Very brave. I think he's
Yeah.
going to be having lunch at his mom's place now.
I know.
No, Sassy already won points for showing the teddy bear. You see, so
Yeah,
that's gonna earn him a few more points for about a few more days.
it's all about stacking. It's all about stacking.
Stacking.
There you go.
Stacking is the way to go. Sassy, I mean, I've known you for what? Oh God, 15 years, 16 years.
Yeah.
You've always been a stand-up guy. What you see is what you get. You've got integrity, and we're so glad that you spent time with us today. The hour has just flown by, and unfortunately, it's time to wrap up the show. So, as we're closing this video time capsule that we're working on together, you get to leave one message. And what would you like to say to your future grandkids?
So, what I like to say to my future grandkids is I hope that at the end of everything, at the end of every journey, right, you become a good human being. I think the world needs positive people. The world needs inspiring people. And hopefully that's what I think the Sasikumar family stands for. We're all about family values. We're all about looking out for each other. So hopefully my grandkids in the future, if they're listening to this, hopefully you guys have the same values as your granddad, and hopefully that stays in the family line. Hopefully that's all I got to say.
Lovely, mate. Lovely. That is just so you. Lovely.
Yeah, you're a
Thank you.
very inspiring person, Sassy. I've said it at the start. I felt it the whole time, and I'm serious. You really are. Your life story is a movie waiting to happen, and it's already got a
Wow.
great title, Blade of God. I mean, hey, that's a hell of a title.
I'll reach out to you. I'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Percy, get on it.
Sassy,
I
meet
see it
the
opening in
director.
Cannes. No,
Yeah.
but people will be inspired by your story, and I think it's an important story. The
Thank you so much.
shooting,
I'm
the
humbled.
way what happened after you were playing, and how you were able to go in a different direction. All of that is just
Yeah.
meant to inspire other people. And I'm sure your kids, and I'm sure your future grandkids. So thank you very much for sharing
Too
the time
kind.
with
Too
us.
kind. You guys are too kind. Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure being here.
Yeah. And thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you very much for joining us today and for coming back. Now that
Yeah.
we're back, we hope to see you every Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate it. And we always read all the comments, and we try and reply to as many as we can. So we really appreciate that. And you can follow Sassy on Instagram and Facebook, and also tune into his radio sports show, Sport Talk, on CNA 938.
38.
CNA 938 in Singapore. I'm going to get my numbers right at some point in the show. I was just telling the guys like 5 minutes before, I've got this double vision issue. I have an appointment with my ophthalmologist.
Ophthalmologist.
Yeah.
Ophthalmologist, yes. But yeah, everything is just all double. But yes, and we'd love a rating and review. Check out our podcast, ping us, talk to us. We want to hear what we can do to improve the show. We're always just interested in who you are out there and what you're up to, and just chat with us. That'd be great.
And thank you for watching, Dear Future Grandkids. Just one last shout out before we say goodbye. It's Jien from the UK that's been leaving lots of messages as well. I think he's a big fan of yours, Sassy. He's following your career. And Jien, thanks for watching all the way from the UK. And once again, thank you for the opener of season 4 of Dear Future Grandkids. I'm Jien, that's Percy, that's Ange. And of course, thank you to our wonderful guest from Singapore, ex-national football player, R Sasikumar, and sports entrepreneur. Sassy, mate, great having you on the show. Take care. Thanks everyone for watching, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.